Hi YouTube. Today I'm showing you the GXT1000VP4 two-way radio. It's an FRS GMRS radio. Claims it's got a range up to about 36 miles. Of course, that's 36 miles line of sight, and the rest is all variable depending on where you live. Uh, First off, just going through the main features. You got your push-to-talk button. You got your uh, knob up here, which you click off, and then you'll see that it adjusts the volume and powers up the radio. It's pretty standard on every walkie-talkie now. Then you got your front buttons here. You'll see that. Here's your call button. You push that, it calls another radio or a group of radios. You got your down and up arrows here for your channel changing, menu, and then your monitor button. Then you'll see that these buttons also have a lot of different other dual functions, and the dual functions are that if you push and hold them for a long enough time, I think it's about 3 seconds, you'll activate the other function. So if you wanted to lock the keypad, push and hold, you'll see it's an image of a lock. SOS, that's just if you push and hold this long enough, same thing, 3 seconds, you'll get a high-pitched sound. That's if, like, say you're in danger, or if you can't speak and you're trying to signal somebody that you know is in your area. Push and hold that, and it's a very, very loud sound. This you'll see where it says WX, that's for your weather monitoring. And then your scan button, push and hold that, and it will scan for one channel at a time for other radios and other conversations that could be going on around you as well. And on this side, all this is going to be for a microphone and headset. That's pretty standard. On the back, got a battery door. The nice thing about this radio is it uses two different types of batteries. You get with this battery package, you get the Midland nickel metal hydride rechargeable battery pack, which you'll see it has a little notch here. Just slide that notch in the top side, same side as the antenna. Push front and push all the way down. That's pretty good as far as saving cash and batteries, because if you're operating this in GMRS mode, you're going to find that using 5 watts of transmit power every time you push this push to talk button is going to consume a lot of battery life. Now, the other nice power feature, and the reason why I'm using just a screwdriver, is actually it's a lot easier than using your thumbnail. The other nice feature is you can just use regular AA's, rechargeable AA's. It takes 4. You'll see that one goes all the way up, right underneath the antenna. And this 4 AA's versus the Midland battery pack, it's probably going to last you a little bit longer than the battery pack. So, but the battery pack would be, a perfectly fine backup. Alright, these radios are packed with features. I mean, these radios have more features than a scientific graphing calculator. For example, you got these 22 channels, and then it says plus 20 extra channels, so you get a total of 50 said channels, but the first 22 are your main ones, which are the 7 FRS, which transmit at half watt, 8 GMRS, which will transmit up to 5 watt, and then you have 7 shared FRS/GMRS channels. You got up to that 36-mile range. That's going to, and GMRS, that'll be on a high power setting, which you have low, medium, and high to choose from. You got about 387 privacy codes, which, according to the manual, says you've got about over 5,500 different channel options to make sure that your conversations aren't heard. You have the Noaa weather alert radio with the weather scan, which is basically as soon as you push and hold down on this button here, the menu button with the WX key, which is the alternate, and you hold it down for about 5 seconds, it's going to scan the local weather radio stations around you, and it's going to lock into the strongest one, which would be your immediate location's weather radio. Other than that, you've got the Sos Siren, push and hold that down arrow key. It says it's waterproof in the manual. It's not really waterproof. It's just water resistant. You know, it can take a splash. It can take some rain, but that's about the extent of it. Nothing about this is really waterproof, so don't go swimming with it. It's got this whisper feature where once you activate this whisper feature, it makes the microphone on it super sensitive, so you can speak clearly when you whisper, and others will be able to also hear you clearly. You've got this group call option. It allows you to make direct calls to others within your group, which means that basically, if you had a bunch of these walkie-talkies, you can set them all up in a group, and then you can target specific radios in that group to communicate with. I don't know how, it sounds to me like it's actually more like what a cell phone would be rather than a radio. So I really don't know how often this feature is really going to be used. Other than that, you've got what's called the eVox, which is just a hands-free operation. So you speak, this can tell that you're talking, so it opens up your channel. You've got the extra talk power, which it increases it by to maximum power, which is 5 watts for civilian use with radios like this. Outside of that, you got the 10 call alerts, which is you can pick your own ringtone for your radio. The channel scan, which again you can scan one channel at a time. Or it's got this other feature, which is called Dual Watch, which you can constantly monitor 2 different channels at a time. So if the audible tone on the radio is too much, you have the vibrate alert option. Also has what's it's called auto squelch, which removes some of the background noise. But if you wanted to listen for a faint radio signal, it's kind of hard. It'll basically ignore anything that's faint to avoid giving you static. So I don't know if that's a pro for you or a con. Other than that, again, you get the high, medium, and low power settings. Overall, it's a pretty solid radio. Haven't brought it out just yet, but we're also going to be displaying that when we take these radios out on the road. We'll give you an idea of what kind of distance you can expect to get in any kind of a city environment. A medium, populated city, relative to that of, let's say, New York City. After all, this is Rhode Island, so there's not too many huge cities here. So now all you've seen to this point is the single radio. It comes with 2 radios. It comes with the belt clips, 2 nickel metal hydride batteries, rechargeable. Comes with a charging base, just a drop-in charger. Comes with 2 headsets, which I've seen other videos on YouTube about. Some people hate them. Seldom people like them. I'm not really sure if people are actually putting these on correctly. I've put this on, and it's actually relatively comfortable and a pretty stable headset. I really don't have any complaints about it. I didn't really wear it for that long, so if that's what people's concern were, if over time it's just gets annoying, then so be it. But it worked for me. I can't really knock it. Comes with a home charger, and you're always going to need the base. This is maybe one of the drawbacks, is there's no place to plug this jack in on the radio itself, but instead you'll always have to be plugging this in the base. Now, aside from the home charger, you'll also get the vehicle charger, but again, you always have to keep the base with you in order to charge these up in any vehicle too. So it's not really a drawback. I mean, I guess you can charge them single radio at a time. Doesn't really matter if you have both in there, but it is pretty versatile. It comes with a lot of things that make this a pretty all-around useful radio. And I've had Motorola's, I've had a couple of other radios, but I think this is a solid buy. Like everything else, it's all made in China and Japan, but as far as what I can tell, this is a really solid investment. I was a little hesitant for the initial cost, but then again I was getting all of this other stuff with, you know, 2 radios. The other nice thing that I found, especially with the Midland brand, is that the batteries, they're all the same for the most part for the Midland company. And so one of the other things that I had bought from Midland is their Midland Basecamp XT511 radio, which is also a 5-watt transmitting base station. And what's nice about this is that this battery is also something you can put on the inside of this. The reason why that might be important to somebody is that you can insert your battery from your handheld walkie and use a dyno to recharge it. So if you ever find yourself in a location or a situation where you can't use any type of home power, vehicle power, it is something that you can switch to recharge your Midland rechargeable battery. Now you might be thinking to yourself, you see some other Duracell rechargeable batteries in here. No matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you crank it, this thing will not recharge your AA rechargeable batteries. It will only recharge the Midland rechargeable battery. So the reason why I had bought this base station with these particular radios is because that these batteries were interchangeable, and if I ever found myself in a situation where I absolutely had to get power to these batteries and I had no other possible source of power, I can always recharge it by hand. So all in all, that's all there really is to the Midland 2A radios, at least the handheld ones. This will be featured in a different video, so I hope you stay tuned. Thanks for watching.